This
14
conference
years.
will now be recorded.
Yeah, so I will be the instructor for today. Yeah. Am I audible now? Hello.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, you are good. We are hearing.
Okay. So my career itself started in Salesforce and it's been 14 years. So I worked in multiple areas of Salesforce like sales, service, uh, platform analytics, and Einstein. What else? Integrations and different domains as well: education, finance, and tra- oil and gas, and of course, even in pharma as well. So, this is about myself. And coming to current session. So, the intention of today's session is just to introduce you how or what is Salesforce, yeah, and how does it work, and what are the job opportunities, and how does it differ from the other technologies, and of course the course content as well. Anything else if you are expecting, do let me know, or you can stop me right at any point of the session, so no issues, or you can ask me the questions at end of the session as well. Okay. So assumption for today's session is most of you are either freshers or people from other technologies, not from Salesforce. Yeah. And can someone explain me about this diagram? I just want to try to make sure that today's session is interactive rather than just me speaking about the details. I would love to see if someone else also speaks along with me. Hello? I went on mute. No. So this is one of the typical email that you might have seen in different areas, like or different presentations of your project meetings, or uh, uh, maybe in your organizations as well. So it all speaks about the industrial revolutions that we have. So if you see the date ranges, so as of now, people say that we are on computing, but actually we are in intelligence. That is where so in uh, computing industrial revolution, that is where we used to speak with the systems, right, where you used to write some command to your system so that it used to respond. But now in the fourth industrial revolution, systems started speaking back with us. For example, your Siri or Google, or maybe your Alexa, or you can drive your car without a driver as well, right? All these things are coming just because of the fourth industrial revolution, and sales was, of course, implementing a lot of things in the using Einstein as well. Okay, so that's where the intelligence of sales was lies. So before we start, so why do we need any software application? Anyone? Hello, hello.
We can hear
Am I
you.
audible? Can someone respond? Could be great.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay. See, so the basic need of, or why do we need any application? Forget about whether it is irrespective of the technology. So generally, people will say that okay, application reduces our effort and of course time, right? But ideally, there are two ways. One is if you look from the customer perspective, yes, of course, your answer is correct. So earlier, I have to do a lot of things. For example, yeah, movie tickets. Earlier, you have to go to the theater, stand in a queue, and get the ticket, or ask someone to go there and buy it for you. But these days, as you have an app, let's say that Book My Show, you can sit at your home and you can book it with your fingertips. So what happened? Yeah, for you, yes, definitely it have saved a lots and lots of time, right? But at the same time, if I ask the same question to this Book My Show owner, he'll say, Ram, this is a revenue generating resource for me. Because the more number of people using my application, the more amount of revenue is being generated, right? So now, who is this owner of Book My Show? For example, some X. This X is also one of the person like you who stood in the queues, try to get the tickets, and get them, of course, and used to visit the theaters. But unlike all of us, he have seen a vision over there. He thought like, okay, as people are going there and standing in queues for a long time and getting to it, so why can't I build some application so that instead of people wasting their time of here, they'll come to my application and and get the tickets. This is what the idea that he had, and that is where he brought started working and he built a application. Now consider about a legacy platform. Of course, Book My Show is on cloud now, so I do know, but let us say there is no cloud platform like the same old age old platform that we have, that or C, C++ or Python, all these technologies. So let's say no one is aware of cloud, and this Book My Show owner, this Mr. X, went to let's say a lady called Lakshmi, and she is owning a company in software. And he said like, okay, I want some application so that people can start using that. Using that application, people can book that application. She said, okay. So she came up with all designs, all requirements has been taken care. But now to start building that application, I need some infrastructure, right? For example, to host any application, you need a server, right? And I need a system as well. That is where I will install some software, right? Based on the technology. You have to install a software so that you can start building on top of that software, whether it could be Java or Oracle or C, C++. You have to complete some installation steps. Post that, they'll define the user access and then reporting, securities, and in the end, they will make it on mobile as well, right? But to set this up infrastructure itself, Lakshmi, the owner of this organization, software organization, will take a long time, right? Post that, they'll start building the application, right? So this is a lots and lots of ways to find. That is why if you have seen or like let's say maybe your cousins or your uncles who is there in IT, but maybe 10 years back they used to say that okay, my project is about to start, but it used to take around 6 to 12 months to just start the project. Forget about building the getting the solution. Why, Ram? Because of this, right? And second issue of this platforms are is your server. So when I speak about server, there are two things. One is the capacity of the server, either it is user capacity or the data capacity. So data capacity to an extent it is fine because these records won't take much space, but specifically about user capacity. So when I'm buying a server, let us say I'll say that okay, I need a server with a capacity of 1,000 users, which means at any point of time, this server will respond only to 1,000 users, not more than that. What if more than 1,000 people are trying to access? The server will hang up. So that is where if you have seen, if you are from India and you try to book tickets in our railway system, IRCTC, around maybe 6 years back, till 6 years back. So it was very difficult to book a ticket in IRCTC. Every time it used to hang up, right? So sometimes there are cases your application used to crash, your server used to crash. All these issues used to happen on our IRCTC portal. Why? Because it was implemented on Java system and the maximum capacity of our IRCTC server was 50 lakhs. When you compare that 50 lakh with Indian population, nowhere matches even to the 10% of our population. That is one main reason it used to crash all the time. Of course, later on it was taken care by Infosys to move it to cloud. That's a different story. But that was the biggest issue. So if let us say now you say that no Rambo, looking at the people, I will increase the server size. You cannot increase the server size, but you can increase the number of user capacity either by connecting some other server serially or replace it with a server with a higher capacity. Both are possible. Possibility is there, but it doesn't mean that you will do it all the time, right? Because it is a physical model. So each and every server costs you somewhere around lakhs and crores. So just because of people are increase, I mean the number of users are increasing or decreasing, you can't simply switch the servers all the time, right? Because that will again take lots and lots of money, effort, and of course time as well. So to avoid all this, so we have something called cloud computing. So on the legacy systems, it's basically an on-premise system where an application owner will be the owner of the entire resources also, right? Whether it could be storage or servers or visualization, operating system that you need, or run, whether if there are any runtime errors or networking, everything used to fall under the resource owner. But when it comes to cloud, we have three different services: infrastructure, platform, and software. So in infrastructure, what we have? So it is similar to our again on-premise system, but it's like 50-50. It'll say that okay, I have come across so that I will manage, or basically in cloud computing you will have a service provider. So he will be the person who will say that hey, you want to build something, so I do have a space in my server, I'll give you that space, you pay me some amount and start building the application in my space and start leveraging it. This is what it says. And the best example for your infrastructure is AWS, Amazon Web Services, where they'll give you a black box, which means you will have a storage server will be given, networking, visualization, virtualization, everything will be given. But coming to the operating system that you need to build the application, you have to take care. Or let's say if that application has to be connected with a different system, you need a middleware, right, to have a runtime connection that you have to manage. And runtime issues or data issues, everything has to be managed again by the subscriber or the resource owner, right? So best example is Amazon Web Services. So I would say this is semi on-premise service because here also it will cost you a lot. But next thing we have is platform as a service, where in which you have the responsibility on only two things. One is the application that you are building and the data that you are managing. Rest all will be taken care by service provider. So this is where the first step of Salesforce comes in, right? So to build any application in Salesforce, you don't have to look for any operating systems. You don't have to install any software in your system. Like the way you log into your Facebook, you log into your Salesforce system and start using it. That's it. Clear? Then we have one more, that is software as a service. The best example is our GoToMeeting. It'll have everything. It's an inbuilt product provided to you as a service through the internet, and you can start leveraging it. So everything will be given by the service provider, and of course, Salesforce plays a key role in with the software as a service. Why? Because the moment we buy the Salesforce licenses, by default they'll give you some of the market standard applications like sales, service, marketing, all this. Yeah. So if we feel that okay, my organization place, let's say consider sales application. So if you feel that okay, I follow the industry standards of sales application, and you can directly leverage the Salesforce application, the sales application of Salesforce without any changes. You don't have to develop a single line of code. You can straight away use it. But someone will say, no, no, Ram, I may not. First of all, what is an industry standard? It's very simple. So what is the generic sales model? I'll have a product. To sell it off, first of all, I have to advertise so that I'll get some inquiries. People will start looking into it. They'll come back, they'll come for an inquiry. And if they're interested, then they will buy. That is where they'll become my customer. Once they bought the product, let's say if they need any services, let's say yeah, you bought a car. Once in 3 months or 6 months you'll do a service, right? So that is one of the service requests. So such services, if you need, again you will go to the same car showroom and ask them, okay, I need a service, so I'll take your car and provide some service to that. So that comes under service model. So this is a typical sales and service model, right? Now, Ram, but will the same sales model or service model followed by every organization? Definitely not. A best example is, yeah, consider about in India, consider about Maruti or Swift. So the moment they are planning to launch a new model car in the market, at least from 6 months or 1 year, they'll start advertising the product in multiple medias. It could be on TV, it could be on your YouTube's, Facebook's, everywhere. Right? What is the intention behind it? People like you who are interested to buy the cars will look into it, go to the showroom, inquire about it. If you like it, you'll book it. Right? But have you ever seen a single ad till date posted by Rolls Royce? No. Right? But does it mean that they are not getting customers? No. Right? Millionaires run behind Rolls Royce to get their own cars, right? So everyone has their own business model. It doesn't mean that you have to follow the same. Now, Ram, in that case, the sales process that is, or the sales application given by Salesforce in the Salesforce license that you have suggested goes with companies like Swift. It's okay. But what if Rolls Royce wants to do this? Of course, they may not follow the same sales model, but they do have their own model, right? So they can buy this license, and if they want, they can build their own application. Or at least the tables that you need for the sales model will be the same. So they can leverage the same features and they can customize this also. That is the second advantage. Which means Salesforce will never say that, hey, I have given you the market standard product. You have to use the same. No, If you feel this is the product that suits your requirement, it'll say you use it as it is. And if you feel that no, no, this is not the one, I want to build it right from scratch, you build it from scratch. It doesn't matter, because the moment you are buying the Salesforce license, you are getting the platform by default. So you have a platform already where you can start building the application. Now, someone like Ram said, no, no, this works, but only 30 to 40% of my requirement is meeting with your application. Other 40 to 60, I have to build it on my own. That is also okay, which means I can even customize the application also. These are couple of reasons why say people are running behind Salesforce, or I would say why companies are running behind Salesforce. Each and every company who started using Salesforce have quoted that they have seen a minimum of 40% growth of their profits after starting using Salesforce. It doesn't mean that Salesforce licenses are cheap. Salesforce is also costlier. Okay, clear? And these are a couple of examples. And one more. Okay, Ram, by the way, so you spoke about that security, user capacity, all this. So how does it handle in cloud computing? So in cloud, what will happen is none of the technologies that are available in cloud will share the application directly to the users. They will create the instance of an application, which means an image of your application in the cloud, and that image will be shared to the users. And Ram, do I need to take care? No, it has been taken care by the service providers itself. You don't have to work on it. The way it works is, so there will be a, let's say, I'll just draw it. Okay. So consider this is my server. Yes. Let's say if it is a legacy platform, then it used to directly connect. I mean, there is no other way. I'll just draw two people. Okay. If you need to provide access, you need to you used to directly host the application like this to the users. Okay. Now, when if it is cloud, what will happen is this will create some instances in the cloud. Okay. And these instances will be shared to the users. Something like this. Now, let's say what if the number of users increases? It will automatically increase the number of instances. What if the number of users decreases? Then it will automatically delete those instances. So you don't have to worry about it. So how does this will be taken care? That is taken care by the service provider. For that to take care of such issues only, you are paying license for them, right? Everything will be managed by the service provider itself. You don't have to worry. And next thing is one more biggest issue is the moment you have your own server, right? It is always a security issue, right? So one or the other ways, if I know the credentials and all, it is easy to hack your systems when you're using legacy platforms. But this cloud computing technologies, most of them are having high end security policies, especially Salesforce. For example, If you have observed from past 5 years or 6 years, your Gmails or your Facebooks or LinkedIn's are asking for verification code if you log in from a new system, right? But this was implemented in Salesforce somewhere around 2008 2009. So even if I know credentials, your credentials, I won't be able to log into your system with your credentials. It will send a verification code to your personal mail ID with which you have registered with Salesforce. Forget about hacking the data, because to hack the data, it means you, if you want to extract the data from Salesforce, you need to connect with a tool called data loader, through which you can extract the data. And for that, again, you need a security token, which is a 18 digit combination, which is impossible to hack. That is one reason. You can even figure out there is no a single news about data breach on Salesforce, because till date it didn't happen. Yeah. And now, when you speak about Salesforce, one of the biggest advantage of Salesforce is it has a customer 360 platform. What do you mean by this? So I can, using Salesforce, I can define the end-to-end journey of a customer. Let's say if it is a product, if they are selling a product, yes, I can go for a sales and service. I can help them in doing their marketing. And of course, commerce like Amazon, Flipkart, we do have commerce website, commerce clouds of Salesforce where you can define your own website and launch it. And we can define our own applications and analytics to analyze the data. If you have, if you are aware of this M, which is MuleSoft, which is used as an integration tool, it was one of the companies which was acquired by Salesforce around 4 years back, right? This is one of the powerful integration tools that is available in market now. It comes with Salesforce. And in employee experience, like your Google spreadsheets, we can even define some sheets in Salesforce, and these are all related to licenses. And you can so this helps you to uh, update the document with 4 or 5 people all at a time. And then it's been there in multiple industries. For example, it's there in finance cloud. I would say Citibank is one of the biggest customers. Not Citibank, Citigroup, I would say, not just bank. So City groups, which includes city financial groups and real estate groups of US as well. So 70% of Citigroup's transactions is completely dependent on Salesforce itself. And it's there in education industries. Like Harvard is using Salesforce, and of course Stanford is using Salesforce. And it has been partnered with multiple service-based companies like Accenture, Wipro, IBM, Infosys, whatnot. Almost all the level 5 companies are there with Salesforce, and even of course the level 3s. And there are companies in India which are startups. They're completely relied on Salesforce. They will work only on Salesforce application, and it has a success community where you, being the Salesforce developer, and if you have any questions, you can directly go to that community and post your question, any technical question for that matter. People then to that, like people like other developers working in other organizations, let's say why not me. So when we log in, if we see that question, not just Salesforce people, no? People working. Let's say you are from Wipro and there is a person worked in Accenture, and he is the person who have seen your question. He can answer it like exactly like works like your Stack Overflow as well, right? So it helps you to do it everywhere. Now, Ram, when you are always speaking about sales service, does it mean that to use Salesforce, I need to have a product and a customer? No. So Salesforce, of course, it's not the only tool that provides solution for every problem that you have. But whenever you have a data, whether it is complicated, also that is fine. And if you want to process it or mature it, then you can make use of Salesforce, because it has n number of free automation rules at the back end. By using point and clicks, you can easily provide a solution. So it is quicker, of course, efficient, and delivers a solution with a best quality that is available in the market. So these are the reasons why every organization started using Salesforce. Yeah. Any questions so far? Anyone? Hello.
No questions.
Hello. Okay. And of course, Salesforce works in multi-tenant architecture, exactly like a kind of apartment culture, right? So, where the moment I bought a flat in my apartment, so I have to be in my own dedicated space. Of course, I can use the shared resources, like maybe power or water, or let's say a common play area, all this, right? But I should be in my own limits as well, right? Similarly, so if you are buying a license of Salesforce from their servers, they'll give you a dedicated space. So you can leverage the common platform, but to make sure that you are not overriding other people's spaces and all, we have some limitations, and those limits we call it as governor limits. For each and every feature that we are discussing in Salesforce will have a governor limits, so that we will discuss every day. Okay, and this is how it is. So earlier, like when you have an idea, you have to complete the setup first and then build an application, right? In Salesforce now it is pretty easier. The moment you have an idea, you get a license in Salesforce and build it. That's it. And the best part of Salesforce is it not just supports your desktop, it supports any gadget that has been used by your end user by default. So earlier, if you have seen, like to make sure your screens are responsive on the mobile, your company used to hire a web developers or a HTML developers, right? Now you don't need it. So you being a Salesforce developer can make sure your application is released even to the mobile device as well. So it reduces the number of people, right, that are participating or that are being there in the entire life journey of an application. It has reduced the hardware, right? Of course, to use Salesforce, you just need a good internet connection and a basic laptop. You don't need high-end softwares to be installed. All these things are nothing. These are not at all required now. And of course, looking at the chart, so if you compare the first example, the legacy platform application, and compare with Salesforce, now you can concentrate most of your time in building the application rather than setting up the infrastructure and operations. So that is why, and obviously, every time in most of the applications that you are working on, right, it will always reduce the amount of, I mean, it will always be a lesser time when you compare with operations, right? So that is why you can build the application in few weeks or days also. And this slide is not required. So he is the CEO of Salesforce, anyway. And yeah, how many of you are not using smartphones? Is there anyone? Yeah, it will be literally zero, right? Now, if I want, let's say the session starts, right, and career IT wants to communicate with with all of you every day. So what generally they'll do, they'll text you on WhatsApp, right? So there are two ways. If I want to communicate with all of you, I can, as everyone is using a smartphone, I can ask all of you to install WhatsApp, add you in, or definitely you will have. So I just have to create a group, adding all of your contacts, and start texting the details, right? The other way is, let's say my own brother is one of the world's topmost mobile developer, so I can ask him to build an application, right, and then release it to your app stores or play stores and ask you people to install and then do it. And for this, he'll say that, brother, I need 4 months time. I'll say, okay. So which one is better? Obviously, for the first one. Why not the second one? Second one also works. But I'm simply trying to waste everyone's time, right? So why first one is working? Because WhatsApp is coming for free. It is available in almost all the devices or all the gadgets that everyone is using. So you might be using smartphones or days. It doesn't mean that everyone is using the same brand, right? Now, from where are you getting app store? Sorry, your WhatsApp application, either from the app stores or the Play stores. So Play Store is a replica of an app store, right? First, you got App Store, which is launched by Apple. Looking at that, slowly Google also started their own store or a marketplace called Play Store. But you know what? By the way, App Store is a domain itself, or is an idea that belonged to this fellow. Mark Paneer. As he is a good friend of Steve Jobs, he have gifted that even the idea as well. You can search it and Google later, pause the session. And he came up with a word called App Exchange. So, like the way you have App Store in iPhones or Play Stores in Google phones or Android phones, we have something called App Exchange, wherein which I can use the applications which is built by different organizations. For example, I have lots and lots of data, and I want to my business ask me to convert this to a document, a PDF document, and share it with me. So to do that, I need to write a lot of code. Instead of doing it, I will go to this app exchange, install an application called Conga Composer. Of course, I have to pay to the person who is owning this application. If they're giving it for free, I can make use it for free. So I can install it and I can start simply using it. Right? That's the other way. Which means if you know that there is a business problem and if you know how to build a solution for it, you can build it and even release it to the app exchange so that other people who are actually required, they can start using your app. So it's not that you can only look for a job, you can even build an app if you have a good idea. And of course, the resources that you need are same. You don't have to have a special requirements for this. Only thing is you just have to have an agreement with Salesforce saying that you are partnering with them, and you can build an app and push it to the app exchange. But the thing is, you have an app exchange team where they will review. This won't happen in App Store or Play Store, but in Salesforce, as the people who are using the Salesforce licenses are Salesforce customers, they will make sure the applications that you are building are are reliable and having a good quality of data. I mean, there is no security breaches. Everything will be verified by this App Exchange team, and that is where they will allow you to publish it in the marketplace so that people can start using it based on their requirement. And of course, these numbers are pretty old. So as the slide is still looking good, I just kept it as is, but the numbers are doubled already. And this is not required. Yeah, this is how Salesforce has grown. So it started in 99 and now it is a $37 billion company. It is not required, but this is important. Now, Ram, why this is important? More or less same, right? But this gives me just this number. But still, it is very important. Why? Because, so, can I say this? Like, some of the people that are there in this session are new joiners, like freshers, but some of you are trying to switch your technology, right? So why you are switching your technology? Why you are planning to switch the technology? Generally, what from my friends, what I understood is there are two ways. One is the technology got saturated in the market, first thing, or there is too much of competition, or like let's say the number of people who or number of organizations who is using this technology are lesser when you compare with the number of resources that are available in the market, right? But when you come to Salesforce, right? So if you see the bar is always growing, and how does it matter to me? Because I'm just a person who is working on the technology. I'm not even working on the company. Why you are showing me this bar? See, if you see here, so their projection for 24 is $35 billion company, but they almost reached it already in three itself. By the way, why this technology is growing up? Because of the number of customers who are using this. If the more number of customers are using it, you mean that they need lots and lots of developers or admins or architects or business analysts, all this. So which means the demand of the people who are using sales or who are working on Salesforce is also keep on growing. So that is why that is very important. At least for 5 more years, you can happily sustain on Salesforce if you are a Salesforce developer. And I'm not saying that you have to learn Salesforce, so it's up to you. But career growth is like this. Yeah. And these are the different roles, I would say, certifications we have in Salesforce, somewhere around 30 plus certifications. So admins, developers, consultants, or you can do the specialists on CPQ marketing, or you can be an architect as well. So these are the different careers. I'll show you the roles as well. Yeah, these are the different roles that we have in the Salesforce. You can be an admin, a developer, or a manager. Of course, on marketing, you can do a Pardot or architects or even testers as well. And the numbers are very, very, very small because the sheet is old. Numbers are almost doubled. So I'll tell you one of my. So I'm from India, staying in Bangalore. So one of my junior most resource who with 3 years of experience have switched the company recently, and he was offered 34 lakhs for 3 years. He's a developer. So this is how the market is. I mean, if you want to know about the market. Now, coming to the course content, it's gonna what is this one? Why stop sharing? Let me know if you can see my screen. Um, yeah. So we basically have two things. One is admin, and that is what have been agreed for this session, and the developer. These are the two tracks that we are going to have, right? So now, what is admin? Admin of Salesforce is quite complete or quite completely different than the admin of any other technology, right? So in Salesforce, anyone who can build the application uh, without writing a single line of code is called as an admin. So you can build an application using point and clicks, and of course we have n number of automation rules that we discussed, so everyone can build an application as well. So for this, like how to build an application, what is the securities that we provide, what are the different automations that are available, how do we make sure to restrict the user, or how do we validate the data, how do we generate the reports, all these things will be discussed in admin part. You will get the detailed course structure from the consultancy later. When it comes to development, you are, again the question is, okay Ram, if you can build application with admin itself, then why do I need a developer? So there are so as Salesforce given as a platform where you can build an application with no line of code, there are some restrictions also. So that is where Salesforce says that, hey, if you want to customize, for example, when you look at Salesforce screens, right? Let me just open my login. Yeah. So this is how the Salesforce looks like, right? And if you want to go with the same standards, let's say this is the sales. This is the standard screen that are provided by Salesforce when you're opening a record. So let me just open some record. Now, if you want to have a different screens, let's say the business says that the moment I click on this, I need a pop-up which should show me the key stages, all those things. That is where you need to customize the application. That's where you have to build your own application, a customized application. That is where we need the developers. So where we will discuss about all three layers, that is user interface for custom components, and model, like what are the datas that we how do we define the virtual datas, or the server side logics like Apex. All these things will be covered in your development, and of course during the same time we'll discuss about the integrations as well. Okay, so this is all about your course content. So as I said, the detailed content will be given by the consultancy. So now you can start asking me questions if you have. It's all from my end for today. Any questions, anyone?
I have a question. Will the consultancy give me like the schedule too, like how often the classes are held and stuff like that?
Yeah, you will be getting the schedule as well. So basically, we have two modules here, right? One for admin and one for development. So each will take 20 sessions, right? 1 hour per session.
Okay,
And so we'll have every weekday, like 5 days in a week, basically. So
okay.
for 40 sessions, and 20 hours for admin, and then 20 hours for development. Now, you might have observed, so development is the place where you'll come to know, or if you are a developer, so basically you should know what you can do and what you cannot do in admin, which means if you want to be a developer, you have to be an admin first, because development will overcome the issues that you have seen in admin. So which means there will be a good demand for developer, because being a developer I can work as an admin as well.
Okay.
And in India, developers has good market if you are from India, by the way. And I mean, not insisting you to go with the development, but yeah, it is up to you. That's how the market is. Yeah.
Yep. And how long would the each session be?
Yeah, 1 hour a day.
Okay. Would the company also give access to the demo for
Yes,
us
I
to like?
do. Not demo. There is an org where we can create and start building our own application. So I will help you in the next session. I'll help you how to create a Salesforce org for yourself, and you can start building the application as well. So okay, maybe I'm apologies that I forgot. So basically, the way session goes on is 90% of the time I will ask you people to share the screens. It's not me who will be sharing the screens, right?
Mhm.
And you will be you will be building the application in your own systems, not in mine, so that you will know how to go, how to navigate. These things will be little easier for you when you're practicing, when post sessions as well. Okay.
So that means that we get the course information ahead of the session, so we know what we're doing in the session.
If you need, yes, I can tell you, but I don't see there is a point in doing it because, see, you're coming here to know what you are not aware, right? So it's
Right.
my duty that I'll take care, like what you have to learn. So you can practice post a session is more than enough, is what I feel. But
Mhm.
yeah, if you insist that no, no, I need a schedule earlier itself, I can tell you that as
Okay.
Hi Ram.
well. Right?
Hello. I'm audible. Hello.
Yeah, you are.
I'm from non-technical background. Does I have to learn any of the basics of other courses like Java, SQL in order to go through this
As of now,
certification?
no. But when we start development, you might have.
Okay. May I know what type of courses?
Yeah, if you are aware of object-oriented programming, that is more than enough, and it will be great if you and you will learn HTML, CSS, and all in future.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Only for development, but for admin, nothing is required. You just come with an empty mind. Rest all will be taken care.
Okay. Object-oriented programming is enough for your telling for development also.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll
Thank
share you the details like how where and all you can see this because basic knowledge is more and more than enough. It's not that you have to be a pro. So before we start
you.
the development, I'll tell you when to start and then where
Okay.
to look at it. So one day of it is more and more than enough.
Okay.
I think we can end the session here if nobody has questions.
Yeah, sure. You can wrap up.
Well, thank you so
Thanks
much for
everyone.
thank you.
Thank you, everyone.